Game 4, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a 2-game advantage, or at least 2 wins for LC, a single win for Titan as we head on to game number 4. Titan, they had some struggles in the first game or two, and a large part of that had to do with what we had deduced with a lack of a front line. Switching things up, we saw a change in the solo lane, and a win came along.
I'm talking actually outside a little bit where we took a break then to the boys from Europe, and there's a few faces in Europe that are saying, they think Titan's going to take the next 2.
Agreed.
They've got the craziness out of their system now, and they're going to settle down and potentially just take this out.
Yeah, that's a great start too, getting rid of the Athena right off the bat.
And that is a smart look for Titan. And again, I said agreed. I meant pretty much the same. I passed a couple of players as well on my way to the water fountain, and that was the same conversation. The conversation was they thought that the London Conspiracy wins were almost by way of Titan.
A lot of people feel though that the Afro pick just was not the correct option.
Yeah.
That's what the thought process seems to be from a lot of people here in the studio watching at home as well. From what I could see, everyone feels the Afro didn't make an impact for Zashu. I want to see him go back and look at that Xing taken off the table this time. They don't want to deal with Brotuz on it, and you guys were saying they felt like it was a big impact, so let's remove it.
I love the decision because we sort of were mentioning how Brotuz we only saw the mages, and then they brought up the Zhang Kui. The question that London Conspiracy is asking pretty blatantly is, what else can you play?
I want to see Bellona here. I think that Repi showed he can play it. Maybe Brotuz can too. Zashu did so well with it game 1 and 2. I would like to see them take Bellona, and there it is.
Great call. I completely agree with that analysis of that. And Najjar again. Cherryo's having good games on this. I like when we see his aggression, Cherryo, in this. During team fights, he'll sash one person, but that's not the target he's necessarily after. And he quickly 180s and hits the one he was really, truly after. And it's a good play.
That's Cherryo right there on the screen. He's been playing. Last game was really the only game that he didn't have an impact in. He was doing well.
A lot of people here on the studio have been saying he's playing lights out right now. Best player on the Conspiracy's team, really showing his worth right now.
It's got my vote. I definitely think he's been showing up very, very well. And it's interesting because especially when you look at the Athena game of game number 2, he's doing it in different ways. Cherryo was showing up game 1 as Najjar, the hyper carry, doing all the work. And then game number 2, while we did see some Athena kills by himself, a lot of it was just set up for EmilZy and the rest of the squad. So Cherryo showing he can do not just one, but 2 things. And Titan, Neith and Thor for their pick phase.
And then Neith, once again, going over to Ataraxia is fine. Repikas in the jungle with that Thor. Not the greatest of seasons, but it's a good, tried and tested option for him. Serket is still available, though. I'm surprised we didn't see that one gone for here, but they chose the Thor instead.
Najjar probably has a better matchup against the Serket than the Thor, although can still get kill potential in either or. I'd like to see how Repi performs with this, though. Game 1, not the greatest for him with the Thor.
Well, the Thor pick to me here after the Najjar is curious. So the Najjar is able to stop the Berserker's Barrage with the Sash.
Well, he is maxing the 1, though, so it's not as big of a deal because he is maxing his 1 for his damage.
But here's the thing. What the Thor tells me, we might see another mage in the solo lane from Titan.
Possibly.
Because that was the frontline hope for Titan earlier.
This situation here is really interesting because we saw Khepri banned by London Conspiracy against Titan. Titan respawned with an Ares ban. Geb is the only one on the table here, which I know is definitely a go-to pick for both of these. If Geb gets locked in by London Conspiracy, I'm not sure what the response would be from Titan. Maybe Xing 10, but this is Xing 10 locked in.
Bacchus again for Titan, which is a good look, because don't forget, Geb, of course you're not going to be focusing, we say you're not going to be focusing the support, but a lot of the Najjar last time, a couple of times around, we see a lot of focus on the support. Geb has natural crit, not immunity, but reduction. So that might have been an intelligent pick, but Titan opting to keep on the aggressive path, going to pair up that Bacchus with the Zeus again.
As a support player here, what would you be looking for to pair up with your Xing 10 support when you're against it? And you're going to go, no, you're going to probably get against a Neith and a Bacchus here. What would you want as your hunter? Hoagie, or are we looking elsewhere?
It'll be interesting because just support v support, Xing 10 will definitely outclear the Bacchus. I would like to see a stronger ADC. I wouldn't want to see X-Ball or something like that.
That Zeus is solo, I feel.
And there it is.
Yeah.
There. See, the Thor pick showed the hand of Titan. By picking the Thor, as you said, hasn't been Repikas' #1 god, but it has to fill the void of lack of frontline.
Well, it could also be Isosolo, couldn't it? That was ran a little earlier in the fall. I'm not sure what's a better matchup versus Bellona, but I feel like Bellona could also just go on Zeus for free. I don't know if I like that matchup.
It's a bit of a risky one as well, and we may see the Neith go mid lane here as well as an option, Zeus in the Hunter role as well. Maybe even Neith solo Zeus Hunter, a nicest mid. There's a couple of variations there that are available to them, but once again, on paper, we're back to this
Now that the
front
Rama
lines.
is locked in, I'd expect the Neith to go to duo lane, because now with Neith Bacchus, that should on paper outclear the Xing 10 Ram.
Yep.
It'll depend on who gets to lane first, but I would really keep an eye on EmilZy this game. Last game didn't really play aggressive like he would like to. Xing 10 fits his playstyle much, much more, and I know he's capable of playing that god.
For sure.
Titan getting ready. We'll take a look at London Conspiracy as well. A lot of conversation coming out of EmilZy. He's the player second from the camera. Right there, you got Shaggyshenk and EmilZy taking the drink of water. Everyone else seems to be just sort of listening to Cherryo. Seems that a lot of the conversation is between Cherryo and EmilZy here. But overall, the guys seem to be in good spirits.
I think
London Conspiracy
Cherryo
feels
coming into
confident.
this roster as a main starter halfway through the season, pretty much. He was there as a sub, but then eventually became main. It seems to work out that him and EmilZy are the shot callers of the team.
Yep.
They're the ones communicating everything to the team. The other three are feeding off them. They're listening to the calls and like, this is the situation, this is the situation. Cherryo and EmilZy, though, they're the ones to make the calls. This team, though, similar sort of situation, really. It's generally Kanye and Repikas are the two. So once again, supporting junglers.
A little more stoic, the guys on Titan right now. They seem a little bit more...
I think it's more focused than anything else. They realize that they've been up against it since the first two games going down against them. Last game, they were like, right, cool, I'm happy, I'm ready. We did that once. Let's just do it 2 more times. We've been in worse spots before.
How do you overall, Mike? How do you feel about the drafts on both sides of the game right now?
I think I like Titans a little bit more. They have that same burst that they had last game, but now you don't have the Khepri to counter it.
You called it, Mike. Isis solo is a potential thing. Up against a Bellona here in the laning phase. It has the potential to beat Bellona because you can stop the bludgeon damage with your silence and your spirit balls are available to you, but you could get invaded.
Right, yeah, that's the risk. Is also, even if they don't invade, just the Naja alone can have such a strong gank on the Isis.
I think that's going to be a big point for this one. Then.
Yeah.
I thought we're going to have to see
that could even still be a win because they have the combo again with the Scylla. If you force Cherryo away from mid, he doesn't have other follow-up for his ult, really. So just forcing him away from mid and maybe baiting him to go to the Isis and solo would be enough for Titan to regain pressure in mid.
Is it worth that, though, because at the same time they're going to have Eagle's Rally for Zashu, which could follow up the Cherryo ult to keep him pinned in place, follow up with a bludgeon onto the Isis as well?
Yeah, there is more follow-up than last game, but still you don't really expect a solo laner to rotate mid-game to set up for the Scylla as much as the Naja could. And a blink for Xing 10 is huge.
Yeah, right out of the gate, EmilZy going to be purchasing that blink. Wants to make an impact early on by way of aggression, and definitely looking to
get. And
you
notice Kanye counters because he got beads off the start as well.
Yeah, and Kanye's been doing that quite a lot recently as well. He's quite happy to go with the early beads, knowing he's going to be using it. Someone like Bacchus with beads, it makes it very difficult to pin down. He had a great game in the last game, and it showed because he had the beads early as well.
And Bacchus is one of the supports that it's so important to get those beads on. I mean, you mentioned Athena. It's important to get beads on so that she doesn't have to waste her ultimate. Well, Bacchus doesn't have anything to waste to get CC immunity. So.
Well, and the other thing we were talking about last game, the counterplay to an aggressive comp is obviously to counter engage, and normally that's around killing the support once their movement ability is down, and if you're Bacchus and you have beads, that doesn't happen.
Surprised we didn't see Cherryo consider throwing out a ring there onto that camp, just see if he can get a lucky one out of it, but instead, going to rotate to left with the support of Scylla. Immediately the Repikas going to invade on those back harpies and keep the pressure on from Titan early on.
Little bit of damage coming out onto the support by way of Ram. Shaggyshenk just doing what he can. And then invade coming out actually from Thor here, trying to get the back cams, and he does all by himself.
Yeah, just picks him up. He's just denying a little bit of experience, and it allows a little bit of free farm for Zeus in the mid lane, I guess, as well. He'll be able to go and take those right on harpies, and Repikas can even get there in time, or just like wait patiently and share him in the end. So is that the lane phase you expect there? Because I'm pretty sure you said to me you expected Neith and Bacchus to outclear this Xing 10 Rama?
It was most likely because the Xing 10 got to lane first, but...
It's a funny thing that people don't realize that, lane phases goes,
right. But I am surprised that if they did get to lane first, that's surprising me considering they have a Zeus and mid. Zeus generally will outclear Scylla, so I guess I should have paid a little bit more attention to it early game. I am surprised they got this pressure.
Well, there's no invade coming out from the right-hand side onto that Brotuz on that Isis as well. Brotuz not played the Isis so far this season, I don't believe, but he's making he's going to try and make something happen with it here.
Ping's coming out.
And Isis is similar to the Nuwa, where it's really hard to dive, but he won't really get pressure over the Bellona, I feel. So I'm not sure how I feel about the pick yet.
It's a strange because he's got push power a little bit, I guess, but he's even push power to an extent in the early stages. Aggression from EmilZy once again, but generally just keep the pressure on in this lane.
So many pings coming out here on the left side of the map. Are they just pinging the fact that there's a London Conspiracy ward there, or
it could be the ward? And it could be where the rotations are coming from as well.
I think they're trying to let them know that Thor is in the jungle, even though he's not 5.
They were pinging way before that too. Very curious to see what they're communicating.
Must have been the ward then.
Well, Repikas is definitely on this left-hand side because he's expecting the aggression to come out from EmilZy. Again, you've seen EmilZy diving twice in a row there, looking for pressure in the wave, but well aware of it was the boys.
He's just looking for 5. Repikas gets his ultimate off of that wave, and now all of a sudden Thor, a looming threat.
I remember game 1 when Repi stayed mid. He was the target for the combo because Zeus has CC immunity. You saw him hit 5 in the duo lane, so now they don't have that combo potential. And now you see the Naja come over to solo.
Solo is an opportunity for him, but if the circle of protection can go down first, it will help him out a bit. Ring toss, so quick experience, Sash connects, silence, he's on cooldown, no circle of protection drop, wait for Zashu. There's the Eagles rally combo, but circle of protection gets down in time. Brotuz trying to turn it around. Ataraxia though in the duo lane did pick up first blood with the help of Repi and turn it into a 2-for-1 across the map.
Duo lane gets taken out with help of the jungler on Titan on the left side of the map, but a strong gank by London Conspiracy cleans up the kill on the right side of the map. But as Hinuman pointed out, the first blood bonus does go the way of Titan, so ultimately Titan leading by 1,000 gold straight up.
I think Brotuz was a little too risky there. You saw him try to silence the sash coming out from Cherryo. And if he would have saved that, he would have been able to silence the bludgeon, which was the reason he died in the end, because otherwise I don't know if they would have had enough damage to
I agree, because I think all he had to do was silence the ground he was stood on when he landed after the Eagles rally hit, and then just wing gust away. You could just wing gust back to tower, potentially. Tried to outplay a little bit more than I guess he needed to, but in the end it still works out for Titan because of the play on the duo. And they're going to get Harpies on the left because of that as well. Right one's still standing.
Right one's going the way of Aero, it seems. All by himself. Should be able to take out these. Mid lane, a lot of presence by Titan. You've got a support, a jungle, and a mid. Pretty much the core of the team rotating together as a unit. Right side.
The funny thing, core as a unit is what Titan's known for. Repikas, Prime, and Kanyelife are the 3 that have really brought this team to the lead that they've really found here. Bit dangerous invading with a mage on this right-hand side, but it looks like they're looking for it at the same time.
Stun going to be missed by that.
And I think they recognize that Cherryo actually back there, and now they get a free blue invade off of that. I'm not sure who called that out. I'd assume Brotuz, but that was a great job by Titan.
Knowing this in the back just gives an opportunity for them. They didn't even look for the potential of the speed buff there, but they chose the blue, and so denied from Zashu it is for the time being. But it's not too upsetting because Zashu's actually got his at the moment anyway.
Right, but it's still important to maintain that each solo laner is getting their XP. Well, I guess Brotuz didn't really get it, but you still don't want Zashu to get too far ahead.
Two blue buffs in a row, one after the other, and get free and get too crazy. Once again, Cherryo comes over. Once again, goes to the sides. This time, though, beads were ready. The ultimate mission
just off the mark. Intelligent to wait to see the beads, but unfortunately, that
Brotuz is very lucky there. I'd like to see him adapt how he's playing that fight. I think the silence is way too risky to go for. Like
he beats early on that one. If he saved the spirit ball as well, when the ultimate missed, if the spirit ball would have been held. He
exactly.
Oh, he just misses the hit onto the Naja, but here comes help for Naja. Belly flop to help out Repikas as well. Slowed by the ring, but ultimately Repikas should be able to get out.
I like the awareness to know to just get out. That they didn't get the perfect ult off the Thor, so they just get out and they just cut their losses.
And he got caught doing that as well, because you could see Cherryo, the moment he landed, instantly healed because he knew that was potentially coming in as well. So, and tried to reinitiate, knowing EmilZy was in that mid lane as well with that Xing Tian.
Repikas with the foresight. And also, how quickly both teams really were able to collapse on that. You had both supports to show up seemingly out of nowhere. So, very quick response time from both players there to help out the respective teammates.
It's all going to come down to Kanye and Repikas again this game. We've been talking about the front line from Titan the last few games. Yes, Brotuz was on Zhongqi, a little bit more front liney, not necessarily a full front liner.
Sure.
But once again, they're going to have this situation of if Kanye doesn't have a good game, if Repi doesn't have a good game, there's more front line on the other side once more.
And London seems to be struggling with this Bacchus pick. He's had a lot more pressure than EmilZy has on the Xing Tian so far.
Pressure onto
Pop up, expect the roll, there it is, but already low is Rama. A lot of damage as soon as he comes down. I would anticipate a death. There it is. Not enough damage.
Double tap does not connect from Repi, so he has to dive in for the kill. But now he's got no hammer. A monster gets ages away. Repi's still trying to run away here. The spirit arrow's up for Ataraxia, but he's out of a monitor support. Prime is going to get a big kill on EmilZy, though. They chase down that kill.
Amazing Aegis by Repi.
EmilZy's ultimate already on cooldown, but here comes Cherryo, waiting out the beads. This time the ult hits. PrettyPrime gets taken down to about 75% HP, and waiting at the bottom's the mid-mage. Aero says hello, and Cherryo gets credit.
Cherryo does get credit for that one as well, so a nice pickup for him, and it works out in a good position for the boys. He realized, though, that he didn't have any the enemy of Titan didn't have any follow-up. They'd used all their abilities. They were very low on mana there. So you realize you could go and just use those auto attacks after the ult. Because I thought for a second, like, there's no Hammer Monster. How are you going to secure this kill?
Right now, Gold Fury started by London Conspiracy after that win in the left-hand lane. Gold Fury down to about 50%. They're going to have to trade it off.
Repikas going up, though. He's got the ultimate.
Repi's in the air. There's a stun onto Shaggyshake. Down from the sky, and Titan has stolen the Gold Fury away.
Not just that, he'll get
London
a kill as well.
Conspiracy.
Doesn't even matter if he dies for that.
Gold is so
completely
incredibly worth. Yeah.
Repikas waited for the opportunity, saw it, and seized it. Took it away.
And we mentioned game 1 didn't have a great game with Thor. Other than that one ultimate in the jungle, he's had a great game this game.
I don't agree.
2K.
The big record with him on Thor at the moment, he's not had a great time of records, but he's a very, very good Thor player. That's the big key that way to make there. Like, that's unusual to see someone get Thor that many games and not find the victories. I think it's down to compositions for the most part, but it's working out okay.
2 kills, 2,000 gold as well. Well, 1,600. Titan
getting both mid camps as well is huge, and Brotuz got his own blue. So really, London doesn't really have a great opportunity for the next 3 or 4 minutes to get their lead back.
It was just more unfortunate for them at the Gold Fury, really. If they got that Gold Fury, things would have worked out. Pretty much brought everything back to even once more.
Right.
But with the Gold Fury going the way of Titan there, it just accelerates their lead a little bit more.
And notice all the pressure on dueling has taken ganks away from Brotuz. He was ganked 2 times in a row within the span of about 2 minutes, and now he hasn't gotten touched in the last 3 or 4.
Well, Zashu's not too worried on that lane, though. Are you worried about Isis getting too big by free farming solo?
No, not necessarily. It's just you want to get Zashu ahead. I mean, he's already 1-0, and it could turn into game 2 where he's the win condition if he gets ahead again.
And you want Cherryo to get ahead as well. I mean, that Isis is not a difficult gank. There are hurdles.
Exactly.
There are hurdles that you have to go over with the circle of protection and everything, but that's a relatively easy gank for a Naja. So
big key is Zashu's build composition again will be the key here. He's going magical defense again already. He's got to deal with the Zeus. He's got to deal with the Isis. If he can get to that backline like he was doing so well when he was playing this Bellona in the last 2 previous games, if you can find it again, he could put some pressure on Kanye. Getting aggressive, but not scared to belly flop it and keep this pressure on. Will Weaver use, but look at that ultimate coming out from Cherryo. He was drunk too.
Down comes the ultimate out of Aero to seal the deal. Aero does get taken out by PrettyPrime as he sits in the Zeus ult.
Kanye should have a flop up in just a couple
That ring toss has just killed Kanye, I'm pretty sure, unless he can flop away.
Beautiful play by Zashu, able to 180 bludgeon, but here comes Brotuz out of nowhere. PrettyPrime with the kill onto EmilZy.
And Ataraxia round the back from this duo lane as well was to pick up another kill. So almost the DSF, only Shaggyshenk left standing. Luckily enough, though, they're not getting enough minions to really push that tower down, but the rotations were on point.
And that rotation was what Titan was looking for from Brotuz in games 1 and 2.
Yep.
It didn't work out those couple games. He missed a couple abilities where he had some big opportunities. This time he comes in and he cleans out.
Lands the abilities was the key, because when he came in the Neith in the earlier game, missed those spirit arrows, which were very important. That time, though, secured it with the circle of protection and set up Prime for another kill.
It just
saved Kanyelife as well.
Yeah. Big pickups for Titan here. Things are working.
Oh no, I think Kanye died. Yeah, never mind. He died to bludgeon. Oops.
The bludgeon was good, though.
It was. Yeah.
I was surprised that you got that bludgeon right on point when the flop was going to go in. I expected the flop to go a little bit further than that. Didn't manage to find it.
because don't forget, Zashu had to actually turn around at the sound cue almost of the belly flop. Very good mechanics coming out of Zashu right there.
But once again, both these solo lanes making an impact. Zashu playing a much better game on this Bellona. He had an impact on Afro for me with his rotations. The response from Brotuz this time in the rotation, though, very strong.
I'm looking at the supports, too. I think Kanye, the last couple of games, has had just infinitely more map pressure than EmilZy has.
Yes.
And really, that's his style, is to pressure the map, to be very aggressive, and you haven't seen that the last couple games.
They've taken the Athena away, they've taken the Ares away.
Right.
They've not allowed him to get his confidence.
Well, also, I'm just looking at his position in general. He was also buying beads in games 1 and 2, and he wasn't dying as much in these last couple games, or in games 2 and 4, he was just dying much more.
Game 2, though, London Conspiracy was able to pull it out largely because of what Cherryo
they can still pull it back. They're still finding good picks.
Yeah, I mean, Titan has a lead, but it's only about 3,000.
And composition-wise, when you look towards later stages, relatively even on paper between the two. Maybe a marginal advantage in one way to Titan, I want to say. If anything. I mean, I know they've got no hyper carry in Neith, but the burst potential of an Isis and a Zeus is very high.
But if Cherryo keeps popping actives like this, it'll be huge for London.
And one thing to note, we spoke about it for a second, but Cherryo was drunk under intoxicated and still managed to land his ult on the correct target. That's not an easy thing to do.
It wasn't even the target he was focusing.
Big pressure.
He switched targets really quickly.
Here's help given to the right side as
That was
Brotuz
nice.
gets ganked, but long-range ultimate out of his hunter, saves the
Seemed
life
a little
and takes
over-aggressive
out
from
Zashu.
Zashu there.
I think Zashu realized the rotation was coming. Maybe he should just committed and found the kill, because I think he could have still
Yeah,
picked
he had
up
to do
Brotuz
one or
there.
the other. He looked like he kind of waffled on this decision.
And in the end, it allowed Repikas to come in. Will Weaver lands down, and Titan find another pickup.
Titan with the strong rotation. Aero, he might get caught if he's not careful here in the jungle. But he's got Cherryo here as
Prime
well,
is
so
caught. He's got
Prime
the
might
beats.
get caught. But everything misses by the guys on London. The ult hits the mark. PrettyPrime's going to land down right into Aero.
Great block.
Aegis
Okay.
strong, but PrettyPrime takes out
The
Aero.
jukes.
PrettyPrime takes out Cherryo. EmilZy finally able to seal the deal. But Hindu, we talked about you and I.
2 for 1, and now there's a fight here where Kanye can continue chasing down EmilZy. He's got no real escape.
Hindu, we mentioned this
What's
yesterday when Zeus was being played in North America. You have to kill Zeus before detonate. You have to kill Zeus before detonate. That was a 2-on-1. Zeus should have died. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Detonate went off.
And that's why
double
that
kill.
flop from Kanye was so great, because it bought him time to get the detonate off.
Yep.
And he was in a great position. Rama's going to try and snipe to pick up the Gold Fury, but Gold Fury's been reset. Zashu being in here is trying to zone them away from it, so it'll stop the second Gold Fury going to Titan of this game for the time being. Respawns have happened for Conspiracy now, and you can see Titan will back away.
Decent lead for Titan is growing. Let's take a look at the graphs as we approach our 14th minute of combat. 3,100 gold now as Zashu is forced out of an ultimate.
That's a pretty pretty big one actually, with the Gold Fury still being a potential threat.
Yep.
The solo lane is being over in this mid lane now.
Oh, yeah.
Means could be another opportunity for him to go aggressive with this Gold Fury here for Titan.
Titan's looking great. I mean, so all London Conspiracy have to do is win one game. Titan has to win two, but you take one game at a time.
And they look like they want to fight here. Neith pulling gold.
Yep, starting the Gold Fury up. Cherryo in a
Prime's
position.
just waiting.
Has the Sash gonna go onto Prime? Beads early, but Cherryo gets annihilated
Wow.
before he can get out of any sort of situation. Repikas dunks down in the back, doesn't find anything, but they can start the gold again and channel them into an awkward situation.
This is the team that a lot of people expected to see, I think, is Titan just grouping up and just raining hell on the opponent.
Great ult by
EmilZy tries to
PrettyPrime.
make things happen, but Brotuz is able to hurt him. PrettyPrime takes out Aero. The ultimate doesn't really
And
mask
this is
anything.
why I wanted to see
Game
the
3.
Thor ban instead, or the Zeus ban instead of the Soul ban in Game 4, because in Game 1, PrettyPrime, even though they lost, had such a great game on the Zeus, and now you see him
Yep.
at 7-2-3, just completely carrying this
And we
game.
saw the Zeus earlier when you said you wanted to position it on the escape route. That was the
Yeah,
escape route
yeah,
of the ultimate that
absolutely.
time, and he hit it exactly where he
Yeah.
needed to go. Picks himself up a double. It's going to accelerate Titan's lead even further. We're looking at about 7K now.
Another Gold Fury going the way of Titan. These guys are looking fantastic. For all the missteps I think that they made in games 1 and 2, they're making up for it here tenfold.
Well, EU said, like, on the break, they were saying to me, I don't know, we think Titan could take 2 in a row here. Because a lot of them have
Yep.
seen Titan before, and they've seen them in these situations where they're down and out, and they look like they're on the way home.
And, you know, it's funny.
They play it out.
I was talking to some of the guys too, and it wasn't a I don't know if Titan can do it. It was I was on my way and I was like, hey, quick, what do you think about the series? And very quickly it was they made mistakes and now they're going to go 3-0.
That's what
Very
people say.
confident from a lot
I
of
don't
the
like
guys
London
outside.
chances late game in this situation, because each of their initiators in the Xing 10 and the Naja on Cherryo, they're each really far behind. And it's going to make it hard. They don't have enough protections or damage to go in.
I think the funny thing we're seeing between these games as well, the biggest things we're seeing, is that Titan have found the weak point of London Conspiracy, and it's banning away EmilZy.
Yeah.
EmilZy not being on the table for this team is really crippling
Well,
them.
like
Cherryo's
we
still
mentioned
showing up.
earlier, he's the shot caller, and
is.
if he can't control the pace of the game, it really cripples their communication and their team fighting.
But then again, he's showing like not necessarily his lack of god pull, because his god pull is very varied, but the gods that he's most comfortable shot calling on, I feel.
Right.
Right.
And Titan have found that weakness there. They've taken away the Athena, and they've taken away the Ares. It's not working out. Or maybe just Athena's the big key for them.
And largely what happens is, I mean, we can usually identify star players on teams, but it's also very easy to identify the number 2 on a team. And right here with London Conspiracy, you've got Cherryo and EmilZy, and with EmilZy sort of floundering around in this game with the bans, Cherryo is stuck trying to play hero ball, and he's winding up 1-4. Last game he was 1-6. He just can't carry all the weight. It's a shared load, and it's just not happening.
This is a situation we've seen out of Titan in the SPL a little while, where they started grouping mid. This was normally about the 12 minutes
Right.
to pressure a tier 1. You saw them all just fold into mid lane then, looking for pressure, but London Conspiracy, wise to it, all folded themselves at the correct time. Nobody lost anything in their lanes, which is good, but I like the fact Conspiracy have scouted that little thing out about them and what Titan may look to do.
Just clearing the wave here. Got to show up with 4 players, so just to be safe. London Conspiracy finds himself in the right jungle. Meanwhile, left side, belly flop going to engage onto EmilZy, but it's just EmilZy.
I like Repikas forcing the rotation out the soul lane there, since he's the only god in the game with a global ultimate.
I'm really feeling as well that
for
I'm looking
mobility,
to,
that is.
I'm looking to Zashu from London Conspiracy right now to try and step up for his team. He stepped up with his Bellona twice. His core build for this god is near enough online now, and he has to take out this Isis Zeus combo. He can't let them link up like they are doing right now.
There's damage, and then it just immediately EmilZy's taking off the court. It's all PrettyPrime is dealing so
Yeah, I
much.
think he, at this point, if he's behind in defense, I feel like you need beads or Aegis, and there you go, he just picks up beads.
Just absolutely wheeling and dealing coming out from the mid lane on Titan. I mean, look at that slash line. 8, 2, and 3 out of the Zeus. How do you control that, Mike?
Oh, kind of the backside. Didn't manage to find the flop there, but they're still going aggressive. Maybe get the belch off on Zashu, but they will stop the follow-up there. I like that he's a backflip from Ataraxia just in case he needed to support his teammate getting out, but Conspiracy do not aggress.
I think
towers for free.
PrettyPrime just looks so comfortable in this god. I don't agree with giving it to him.
Mama Monster has been used, but he's going to get annihilated by the whole team of Titan, gripping up nicely. You can see EmilZy going deep, trying to make something happen. Only picks up Ataraxia, who backflips away again. Titan come out clean, as well as a kill.
This is one of the most widespread games we've seen in the series. A lot of the games have been close. I mean, even Titan leading in game number 2 was taken by London Conspiracy after a lot of struggle and effort. But this one, it's got Titan's name all over it. There's only 6 kills on the side of LC.
For me, I think the Nisha Scylla combo worked game 1, but it got worked out by Titan. Titan know what's going to happen with that, so they can deal with it. As well as Athena being taken away from them too, it's hurting them
Well,
more.
if you notice, it worked well game 1 because the support was Kanye on Ares, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
and he had no peel for the Zeus. And now you see he can delay for the Zeus to get off all of his abilities, and even if he's going to die, he's going to do so much damage as he goes down. That's creating so much havoc for London.
So much havoc for them, and now this could be a tied series as this game's going on at the moment. 20 minutes in, Titan definitely looking dominant. Brotuz able to rotate all the way over here and steal away the red buff.
It's only 20 minutes in.
And they're looking for EmilZy again here. They forced out his beads there as well. He's pinned in an awkward spot. Look at the zone control from Titan, trying to keep him busy. Shaggy's
This
trying
might
to
be...
get an exit for him here.
This
And
could
EmilZy
have
will
been
get
a
out.
decent fight for London, actually.
The positioning was
Yeah.
the positioning was very strong for London Conspiracy, but as soon as you saw that chunk take it out right there on the side of LC, it was rough. Titan right here, they're going on the Gold Fury.
I want to actually listen to Conspiracy here and just see how they're reacting to this, because early on in the series they had a great game. How are they doing now? The com's still the same? Let's find out.
All right, let's take a listen to London Conspiracy and see where their spirits are at.
Yeah, give up tier 1 for tier 1, that's fine. Like Steve,
Can I just put mid tower? Push mid tower?
Yeah.
Bacchus is here. So
I'll just push mid tower.
I
Four.
can't. The Productus
Three
is not
here.
here. Just get mid then.
3 here.
I'm backing to defend. I'm backing to come.
4 here, 4 here.
I'm backing to come. I'm gonna be at
we need to
T2.
be
I'm
here.
gonna
Yeah,
be
fight
at
them.
T2.
We have to fight them once.
We can push mid. We can push mid. I don't know. What do you want to do?
That's great fight.
That's
keep
really good
pushing
fight.
if you want.
We can't fight.
Right
without
here, right
Scylla.
here. I'm on Zeus, I'm on
I'm still
Zeus.
pushing then.
Holding. Zeus. Zeus really low.
Carry. Don't die for this. Don't die for
Good
this.
job.
Yeah,
Isis.
that's great.
I'm not really close. I'm coming up. Thor, I need to come in.
4.
I
Good
get
for 4.
the 2 mid.
I'm on 4. Knock up. There we go. I got 4 armor.
Kill
Kill 4. Kill 4. 4. Nice. Isis. Get Isis. Can we get it?
I'm gonna try and cut them off.
Shaggy?
I'm coming here.
I can get Isis. You got it? Nice.
Good job.
I gotta get out.
I'm
Arrow's here.
Look for
Arrow's
it.
here.
Just engage.
That's fine.
Almost
That's
got
fine.
Can we
Gold is up. Gold is up.
No, gold's down.
Alright.
Keep pushing mid. Keep pushing mid.
Are you sure it's
Get
down?
mid. Yeah.
Minis are here.
You Arrow killed Arrow. Oh shit,
careful,
Arrow.
Arrow.
Fuck.
You may
get
need
out.
to ult
be
though.
fine.
I think he doesn't have enough mana.
Whatever.
What's
Just
gonna
back
be
out.
coming?
I'm gonna
Alright,
back
back.
It's fine.
You're alone,
fine.
Shaggy.
out.
I thought Ice's ult was down.
London Conspiracy always about the objectives and trying to figure out where they were going. There's a lot said there, Mike. I mean, just break that down for me.
That reminds me of Game 2, where we saw them win a 4v5 under their Tier 2 tower. This time it was a 4v4. Kanyelife actually trying to push up the soul lane, but not only do they win the 4v4 from behind, but they also have Aero this time, split pushing down mid and bringing pressure, and now they're getting...
It was very unfortunate right there, especially since we've been talking so much about Cherryo and his impact into the game. that time around, he was unable to do anything. He was stunned, silenced, and then the long-range ultimate out of Brotuz, just a quick pop, was able to take out Cherryo. I mean, that might have been a deicide into something larger if the jungler was able to do something.
The funny thing is, it was a big turning point in that game for me in the game, because I was like, listen to conspiracy, because I expected to be morale had dropped on that roster. But the comms were still there. They were still like, all right, cool, can we look at this tower? Can we look at this tower? Then the team fight happened. Crystal clear comms, and EmilZy leading from the forefront.
That's great composure, especially for the team that has less lane experience. We were talking about that before the set. Titan has so much more lane experience.
Very, very big key. Some of these players haven't actually played together on the same roster at a LAN before. Zashu new to the roster. Cherryo new since the other boys of London Conspiracy had met before. Those two new and making a very big impact.
So, I mean, a lot of it just sounds so clean. Talk about the value of having those clean comms and able to just really be able to deal out all the instructions like that.
It just lifts everyone's spirits. We were talking about how earlier EmilZy and Cherryo not having their greatest game of the set, but you can still hear their composure and their voice. It makes the rest of the team more confident in their shot calls. EmilZy not having a great game, but he still has to be that leader for his team, and keeping his composure is huge.
It's really not an easy thing to do as a shot caller either. It's probably one of the hardest things in Smite is to, when you're having a bad game, still call the shots and make the right decisions and not sound demoralized yourself, because you can have a bad game, but if you're the leader of the team, you have to keep those shots coming. Otherwise, the rest of the team will start to fold as well, and you won't find a way back in.
And it's the mental game is so important when it comes to Smite, and we saw a lot of the North American teams, honestly, the analyst desk just kept going to the word tilt, because the players were just so tilted. You could see it on the cams, you could hear it in the listen-ins, and you could see it in the gameplay. That's something that I think we got to give a lot of credit to London Conspiracy.
Definitely.
We haven't seen the a little bit out of Cherryo trying to play hero since EmilZy hasn't been showing up this game, but a lot of it has just been standard, and they stick to their game.
Sticking to their game plan. The unfortunate thing is we saw that big engagement for them then, just at the end, but there was nothing for them to get. They looked for the goal fury, they knew it was down, looked for mid lane, have to back away. Unfortunate. If that was a bigger swing where they maybe got more towers, a goal fury as well, this game would be a little bit closer once again.
Well, they did push up dual lane. Was that tier 2 tower already dead, or did they get that?
I believe they got the tier 2 tower.
Yeah, so they do get a little bit of ejected push, and the damage on mid tower is still relevant. You can still siege that down much easier than before.
And that was, like you said, that was surprising. It was a 4v4 because Aero was pushing mid, Kanye was pushing right, and not having a Scylla in that team fight.
Kanye really, it's kind of similar to game 1. He is really the only frontliner. Repi, because he's ahead, is still a little bit tankier, but without him to peel for that Zeus, you saw how early he died in that fight. Imagine if Zeus had lived for a couple seconds longer and got a detonate off or more just chain lightnings. It would have been a completely different story, I feel.
So when you actually feel about these two compositions, and we said this earlier, I know we saw a big win for Conspiracy there. You still feeling Titan because of the comp as the game goes on?
I do like their comp a little bit more, but London did just get a pretty big trade there, so we'll see.
I mean, well, with that last sequence, London has shortened the lead to about 6,000 gold, which is still relatively large. Titan still significantly in the driver's seat, but the momentum maybe be a little bit on the side of LC.
This ISIS build as well, very supportive with the Pythax piece coming out here. Warlock Slash to be a bit more of a frontliner towards the composition of Titan, which we've been talking about him trying to get. So he's more of a CC bot as well. He will still deal damage, but a little bit more CC.
More support to that Zeus's damage as well, which is huge. And damage on Bacchus is no joke, and it helps his scaling as well.
In recent games, in the most recent split, Isis has really shown up in the mid lane as just sort of another power mage. But really, she has so much use as a utility mage, and mages in the soul lane are a whole separate conversation.
Intoxicate gets used by Kanye mid, but he gets rooted and crippled. Has to beat, turns around to Belch, but he should fall down here any second.
There it is.
Prime did get the ultimate off, but he's up in the air right now. I'm a Monster is primed. Aegis out though to avoid the damage. Prime is still alive for now, but for how long?
He's going to fall down to EmilZy right there. This fight going the way of LC, but
Repikas.
2 kills on the side of Titan might even things out. 2 for 2 at the moment. Shaggyshenk takes out Repikas. Brotuz and Ataraxia, the only ones alive. Hold that thought. Shaggy looking for the last basic, can't find it, but chases away the Hunter and the solo.
Big work from Ataraxia there to find the route and body block as well on those extra shots coming in.
This is why the damage on the mid tower is relevant. They could even opt, or at least Shaggy alone could opt to stay for this tower, and I'm not sure that Ataraxia can hold him off of it.
We'll find out because there's a minion wave coming in right now. I love the use of the Unravel over the wall on the minions to give him an extra heal there. He'll have Spirit Arrow up.
TP in, coming down the left side of the jungle, but they decided to opt out once they see Brotuz here.
They're completely not going to find that one, unfortunately, for themselves. But a good fight from both teams there. It was turned around after we saw Prime fall down. They did clump up, which allowed Repi to get in there and really turn that fight back on his head in favor of Titan.
And finally, Cherryo got the ult on PrettyPrime. A lot of what, so Naja, yeah, it's about the damage, it's about the stun. Naja literally takes a character out of the game. So the rest of your team can do whatever they want on the bottom without dealing with that Zeus.
And another big point is London probably recognized that they won that last team fight in duo lane because Kanye wasn't there. So they kill him immediately, and now he has no peel for PrettyPrime. They take him up in the air, and it's just an instant team fight win because those two are dead.
Exactly. A lot of what London Conspiracy have to worry about in the fight is the threat of the chain lightnings, the ultimates, and then the detonate later. Well, if Naja comes and flickers out the Zeus, well, all of a sudden you have this window of opportunity. It's about 2-3 seconds where you can set yourself up and then you aggress on the Zeus and as a team fight back.
A little bit of a flicker of danger for Titan fans once again then in this game because they still need to win too. And once again, it looks like Repi. Sorry.
Cherryo's going to die as soon as he
Cherryo's going to die as well for that
as
one,
he
yeah.
lands. He pretty much just wanted to use his ult before he died. That right there, unfortunately for London Conspiracy, Cherryo's off the board and it's a clear 4-on-5. Brotuz very low.
Shaggy went deep looking for the pick on Brotuz. He does get the kill thanks to the help of Zashu, but he falls down. I'm a monster used by Aero. Aero's going to fall down here as well. Look where Kanye's positioned to stop the escape route if he needs to. But actually, Zashu on the backside.
Zashu is
he got left alone.
With the addition of Kanyelife, this might not be so good for
Zashu. Aegis. Good Aegis.
Turned it around a little bit. PrettyPrime very low. But here comes Repikas, and that's a turnaround. Titan takes out London Conspiracy. Zashu likely to fall here as well. Just a matter of time. Double tap is strong. One more basic. Even if they don't land it, the 4 dead are fine.
Complete messy fight, but the good news for London Conspiracy is they can't do Fire Jam with just those two members.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Even though they lost that fight, I actually kind of feel like it's not that big of a deal.
I agree.
A 3 for 5 at that point. I mean, they can't do fire. They can't push down a tower. I think solo tier 1 did fall, but I could be wrong. But
yeah,
just not much of a win for Titan. They want to close this game out.
Completely agree with that one. And what we actually saw there was Conspiracy got picked off one by one. Cherryo caught out of position, had to ult to buy him time to get his team in position to help him. Meanwhile, Shaggy fighting Brotuz 1v1 in mid lane. Didn't find the kill. Thankfully, Zashu turned up. Otherwise, that would have been even worse.
And even though you look at London Conspiracy's comp and you don't really see a crazy hyper carry, maybe Ram late game, but just because there's not an insane hyper carry like Akali doesn't mean that stalling till late game isn't important, because you look at how tanky Zashu is going to be. If he can just stand in front of Zeus and live, it'll take so much damage off the rest of his team that it'll give London a much better shot.
Well, you saw Zashu there when he was against 3 alone after we saw EmilZy fall, and he still managed to pick up that 1 kill onto the target that he was after. It's going to be difficult
I would actually like to see him pick up a shell.
Titan right now under the hammer. They're trying to make things happen. Let's take a ride with them.
Jumping. Nation, make sure. Alright, I'm in trouble, Trying to back out, trying to 3 Scylla,
Repi's alone,
Repi's alone, get out, maybe get out, maybe get back out. Can you get out?
No.
Okay, I'm backing out.
Fuck! Back, reset.
Yeah. Should try to steal this. I don't have ulti though.
I think ton of waiting. I think, because you can't really defend anything else.
Yeah, I'm just gonna think.
They're pretty low.
Yeah, they are pretty low. But so am I.
That's 20, 25.
Yeah.
Maybe hit Scylla even.
Getting low.
And jump.
Ah. Couldn't jump. Yeah, they're pretty low though.
Where did Naja come from the lane?
No,
You know, coming out of that listening for Titan, they said a lot, but you know what I heard more than Titan? London Conspiracy. You heard those screams, right? That fight handedly went to LC.
Bringer. Death Bringer is the big talking point.
Very fortunate crits there on some key targets.
Prime was the biggest one, and you heard Prime himself go, "Oh poop! I was nothing I could do." Like he got annihilated by that Deathbringer, and that's just swung this game completely. Fire Giant to LC. They've got to get all the tier 2 towers down, and we're in a situation now where Titan's on defense.
And I do have to say that PrettyPrime earlier in the game was the carry. But we've seen now 3 team fights in a row have been lost, and all 3 he has died. He didn't even use his Aegis last fight. I'm not sure if it was up, but they need to either make sure they're waiting for his actives to be up before they're looking to force fights, or he has to be much more cautious with his positioning.
Yeah, because and that's the adjustment. I give a little bit of credit to LC for that. They made the adjustment. They saw what happened, and then it was that one fight. They realized they have Najat. You can just flicker Zeus out, and all of a sudden it's a different team fight. And now that the Deathbringer's online, it's not just a flicker, it's a straight up kill.
How are London Conspiracy coming back in though? I don't get it. Is it just because they're executing their composition better?
Yeah, I think they're just executing extremely well. And I do think that Kanyelife pushing up Soul Lane or whatever he was doing there is a little bit of a throw. Him not being with his team is a really bad thing to have.
So that one a little bit earlier on when they're pushing down the tier 2 left. And it comes back to that then potentially of where this started to
I think that was definitely the catalyst, was Kanye not being with his team in a major team fight.
Well, now it's Conspiracy on the assault now down the left-hand side. Fire Giant on themselves as well. You can see the deep sentry wards being placed to control vision. Keep an eye on where Repi and... Well, talk about Repi. Here we go.
Yeah, Repi's on the back line. He's going to throw down the Berserker's Barrage and immediately be forced out.
Great all by Cherryo.
Zashu over the top. Aero in his ult looking for a target, but Cherryo takes out PrettyPrime all by himself.
That was insane.
Big Deathbringer. I'm a Monster does not connect, but look at the pressure putting on from a Conspiracy. They'll back away for a moment, probably to sustain back up with the Fire Giant buff.
And he just threaded the needle between about 3 people.
Yeah, he did.
Off of no CC or slow to hit the best target he could have possibly hit. And
one thing I've heard at you more than anything is nice taunt from Cherryo, nice ult from Cherryo, nice taunt from Cherryo. That's all we've heard all day.
That was insane.
I mean, Cherryo has just absolutely shown up to play this LAN. I mean, the whole team has been playing successfully, but I mean, it's just Cherryo has been looking absolutely incredible.
And even though he hasn't had his best performance in KDA respects, he's still getting really good initiated.
Repi is going
up one more time, looking for the reinitiation right in the jungle. Beautiful basic attack cancel, putting Cherryo into the ground.
Puts him in the ground, but still Conspiracy got what they came for, which was a Phoenix.
Way worth. Yeah, way worth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So he's just going to buy Titan a moment where we're going to see Conspiracy fall back again. Probably look to siege up the next Fire Giant that comes, keep the lanes pushed out. Firemans will still be pouring down that left-hand lane. Still a good situation.
I actually like how London kind of sacrificed Cherryo there. They didn't all go out the same way. Just told him, you can die. We'll take the Phoenix. One for the Phoenix is perfectly worth.
Yeah, like we were talking about, Cherryo kind of forced to play hero ball a little bit in the early and mid game. EmilZy wasn't showing up, and you can take a look at the player damage. Aero wasn't showing up either. But as the game has progressed, especially after that Deathbringer has been gone, especially after that Deathbringer was purchased into, I mean, Cherryo has he started to be able to do the heavy lifting.
He did, because auto attacks, you're not going to age as an auto attack, are you? Whereas, and I'm a Monster coming out from Aero. That's why you see 3 Aegises on the side of Titan. That's why his player damage is so low, is because he's forcing those Aegises out all the time.
But like an Ares that doesn't get the pull but gets the beads, it's still doing the job. You're stripping the
back doing the job. Aggression once again as we see the dunk down. Aero actually going to get ready for the kill onto Kanye. It was a nice ultimate coming out from...
And Aero just barely lived that World Weaver.
He did, and they still can be able to aggress back onto him again. It looks like they want to actually just disengage here.
Full-on retreat.
Not going to find anything else there. They pushed up on the left-hand side. They got a pick. Sorry, it was Titan that ended up falling down there. They didn't find the pick they were looking for. Did Titan, and in the end, they lose one themselves.
It's actually very interesting here. So I'm going to point out this Obsidian shard on Aero. If you ask any sort of math-oriented person, Spear is almost always the way to go. It is mathematically just sort of better than Shard. But here's the thing. Aero is largely looking for that one punch. You're not looking for the root into the crush, into the ult. What's happening a lot is Aero is just hitting with I'm a Monster. And with that one initial punch, that Obsidian Shard, that's its job. It's going for that.
And another thing to consider is that if he didn't have that, I'm not sure they get that Phoenix and duo lane. His tower damage is relevant because Rama is really the only one who's going to get in there to hit it, because there's no way you want Naja walking up to a Phoenix in front of 5 people.
Not at all. Yeah, he may do a lot of damage to it, but if he walks all the way up, he'll get annihilated by the team. He needs to go in and find the pick. Fire Giant respawns off, and Conspiracy starting to place the sentry wards down once again, get control of that pit. Keep an eye on Repikas because he's the one that is going to have that satellite to have a look around and see if they're doing it.
Ping's coming out of the left side, out of the guys onto Titan as they are very aware of the fire minion situation barreling down that left side. London Conspiracy going to look at the Fire Giant, and Titan have to be aware if they're going to contest the Fire Giant,
someone
needs left side of their base
is in trouble. Conspiracy are chilling on purpose because they know those minions are coming in. Who's going to go back is the question.
I think London should look for an engage here because now that they know that Repi didn't back, he was the one with the global that could make it into a 5v5.
Well, here's the aggression in there as well. Already Cherryo has taken one into the sky. Prime gets a good ultimate off, but Aero annihilates Ataraxia. The Hunter is down. There's not many members left standing on that side. As Cherryo finds a kill on Repikas, they're going to look for the belching god himself.
Beautiful play by EmilZy. Cherryo's the one that winds up with the double kill. EmilZy, nothing flashy about it, but you know what he does? He corrals PrettyPrime completely out of the fight. We talked about Cherryo able to take out Zeus. EmilZy just kept out the mid laner by just being in the right spot. And with that, a huge swing going the way of London Conspiracy. 3 players are dead. PrettyPrime and Brotuz, the only ones alive, and we're able to just see a classic right across the board. Mid Phoenix, right Phoenix. LC has taken down the structures. The base has been broken.
And I think go back and go do fire
this
here.
Is just wise. This is just wise. There's no reason you're on the cusp of beating Titan to face off against Epsilon. Let's not do something stupid and try and push an end and give them a way back in. It's still a Zeus and an Isis with an ultimate after all.
Oh, yeah.
And I really question Titan's decision-making there. They have Brotuz back to defend that, and that's what I was saying is you should really have the Thor do that because then he can at least get to the fight with his ultimate that's semi-global, whereas Isis, there's no way he's getting anywhere near that fight. They take the 4v5, they win it hard, they get Phoenixes off of it, and they get fire, and this should be the game.
And this is the thing about Mage's solo, right? You don't necessarily go teleport on them most of the time. Not having that teleport available means that you're under threat of, if you lose a Phoenix, you're going to have to fight a 4v5.
Huge sequence for LC. Let's take a look at the graphs one more time. And again, I remember doing this in game number 2.
Crazy.
The entire graph is all blue until this one spot right here. We're at 35 minutes, and right about 30 minutes is where you just see the jettison down. That's the LC team fight. That's the LC Phoenix rush. All of a sudden, LC comes out of nowhere and takes the rug out from underneath Titan.
Right about now, though, we're on the cusp of seeing the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed not make the World Championships this year based off how well they did then. We're going to see different teams at Worlds. This is crazy. How weird is it to say after 1 year of competition, Titan won't be there? They finished second last year. TSM won't be there. They finished third last year.
It's not over until Bacchus sings Hindu Man. Don't get ahead of yourself. But 3 Phoenixes are down, and it's looking a little dismal for the guys on Titan.
Looking for the aggression onto Xing 10, who's not really that worried. Actually uses his ultimate. They're just going to get pushed in by fire minions at all angles here. There's an Eagles rally. But belly flopped onto he was by Kanyelife. Circle of protection, so put some pressure on him. But Zashu's fine to limp away.
They're going to show a lot of aggression. The wall by Repikas actually made Zashu take way more damage than he was intending on.
Don't forget, London Conspiracy, they go in, they try to fight. If they get decided, they lose the game.
Right.
We're at the point in time where Titan can march up the entire length of the map and just go in and win.
And I like their composure because they got the Phoenix. Now all 3 Phoenixes are down. They still have plenty of time on fire. You have more than enough time to go back, buy, and then push again.
There'll be 2 members here from Epsilon at the moment, Youngbay and EmilZy, that'll be saying, hey guys, don't count your chickens just yet, because we did this to Titan once as well, and it was at this sort of moment of a stage of a competition too. We didn't make it to Worlds because of that.
That's actually very true. Story. I referenced it earlier. Titan against Cloud9. They were down 2 games to none, and they had 0 Phoenixes, and it was Youngbay and Yaman that was on that Cloud9 team. EmilZy. Yaman was around too.
And now they're in a similar situation right now with the boys.
Yeah.
They don't have a Vulcan this time, though, or a Kali Afro. But they still got a small hope. When the Titan's still alive, the game's not over, guys.
That's exactly what I was saying. This one is definitely, Hindu Man, this is a barn burner.
It's been a very good competition so far. I mean, just out of 3 sets that we've seen, the 2 from NA and 1 from EU, we've still got Dig versus Paradigm later on today as well. And then the big boys will be coming out of the rest of this competition.
Repikas in the air, trying to be a big boy himself. Going to land right down and help out Kanyelife. Aero's ultimate off the mark, but Cherryo able to take out the support right quick.
I love how EmilZy just zoned 3 people and Kanye died for it.
Kanye does die for it. Shaggyshenk finds a snipe on Prime. That's one of the biggest damage dealers they've got left. Cherryo uses the ult onto Repikas to take him out of a fight for a minute as well. Ages to buy him a second. This could be the game. Conspiracy are going to be moving on to face Epsilon.
Neith cannot play defense enough here to stop the onslaught. Ladies and gentlemen, Titan, the team that made it to finals last year at Worlds, won't even get a chance to grace the stage. London Conspiracy has knocked them out in the first round, and they looked absolutely incredible doing it.
That is the youngest European team we've ever had on your screen right there in competition in the Pro League. The average age, I believe, is around 16, 17 years old. They're a very young squad. I believe Shaggy's the oldest at like 20. So when you think about how that team's been formed together, slowly but surely, they had Sun Touch on that roster, if you remember, back in the day as well. And now they've moved towards Cherryo and having Zashu. Snakeskin used to be on it too.
Oh, yeah.
They're looking so strong right now.
I mean, these guys, they came out to play, and we kept posing the question, you know, is it in multiple games? How is this happening? Is it Titan making mistakes, or is it? And it was always the answer from both you, myself, and Mike. It was always London Conspiracy was playing to their team and their composition strength specifically.
And we spoke about like picks and bans for Titan throughout the games, and like we wanted to see transitions for them, but still Conspiracy just stuck to their game plan and it worked out.
Yeah, and I think the big takeaway is the games where they didn't have multiple frontliners, as in 2 or 3, they lost every single one of them.
And not for nothing, again, stick to your individual team's game plan. Teams sort of gather and create identities over the course of seasons and weeks and scrims, and we saw a little bit of departure from that in Game 3. Zashu tried to sort of be the Afro to the Jungle Naja.
And then also the Naja Scylla didn't work out in Game 3, and they have the confidence to stick with it Game 4.
Stick with it Game 4, and in the end it ended up paying off for them as the game went on. I mean, that last game we saw Aero's damage wasn't that high, but it was still making enough of impact, forcing Aegis out of the teams, which allowed the setup afterwards.
Exactly, that's what we were talking about. We've come to the realization that now when Ares ults and he doesn't grab anybody but he gets beads, that's good. And I mentioned it as well. Aero, he's not getting the damage right away, but he's forcing the Aegises, which allows those Cherryo ultimates, which allows Zashu to go in and get those very important Eagles rallies. And London Conspiracy, I think we could speak to every single player on that team making an impact when it really mattered.
I'll be straight up as well. Going into that, we spoke about London Conspiracy. When we were doing analysis and prep for these games, I was talking with other people and everyone was asking me, because I'm the European guy, who's the guy? Who's the MVP? Who's the superstar of this team? And I was like, well, the best one you can look at is EmilZy, but he's a support. You don't normally class them as that. Coming out of that, I can say Cherryo.
Yeah, I mean, Cherryo.
I can say Cherryo for every game. No problem.
Cherryo played out of his mind.
Next Egyptian god to be released, confirmed.
You also had Zashu. Zashu was so important making those rotations from solo.
His Bellona was incredible. All 3 games that he played it completely dominated his lane.
Was really worried actually about Zashu coming into this tournament. He didn't look that strong in competition during the SPL, but he's really stepped up during this tournament and he's had the impact that he needed to for a solo laner. His rotations have been on point. His decision making for the most part, he knew when to go aggressive and who his targets were. It's not an easy thing to realize, especially he's very weird in a young age, but he's only just turned 15.
It's also the target swaps and the target priorities that I really want to point out that worked out very well for London Conspiracy. You had not only Cherryo, who you noted was able to find his targets through traffic and really able to get those ultimates and the stashes when absolutely necessary, but also the team as a unit was able to swap. You saw there was a target, and then as soon as Aegis happened, all of a sudden there's Shaggyshenk ultimates on a different guy, and everybody is focusing, and that really was a big point for LC.
Really big point for them. Any final thoughts from you, Mike, and anything you think about that whole series as a whole?
I just thought it was incredible for a team with a lot less lane experience than their counterpart to just be able to stay so confident when they were down.
And you said that right at the beginning, right? You expected Titan to come on top just because of LAN experience and been under this pressure before.
I thought it was going to go 3-2 Titan, and London just completely dominated.
They really did.
Well, it's been a game of upsets here at our Super Regionals right now. Our first set is over. It goes 3-1 in favor of London Conspiracy. Let's take a glance at the analysts and see how they break this one down.
Hey guys, we are joined by EmilZy right here. Congratulations on your win. Great support picks. That Athena game at the start, or both Game 1 and Game 2, it seemed to just dominate so much that they had to ban out Athena. Once you saw that they started banning Athena, what was your top priority next?
Well, the top priority at that point was probably just getting Bellona, because we thought that Bellona is really strong. We have been scrimming a team a lot, and they played Bellona, so we thought that was really good. And yeah, we have always just practiced this Scylla Nasha all the way from home.
Yeah, we noticed that you guys seem to rely on it a lot, and it didn't really work out for you in the third game. Why didn't you guys choose to adapt and maybe pick a Circuit instead of a Naja? Did you guys really rely on that combo?
That's true, but the thing is, if we go with the Circuit, they're gonna pick Ares, and Kanyelife is known for his Ares. If they have that counter matchup, they're probably just going to win off that one counter matchup. So we're just sticking with what we feel comfortable with, and it ended up working out. So yeah.
How exciting was it when you came out and won Game 1 against Titan? Just how did it feel?
That was so relieving.
Because you're the 4th seed, but everyone's it's kind of okay, if LC wins, it's an upset. Although really you were above them, right?
Yeah.
It just really good. Did you guys ride off the momentum?
Yeah, it's we thought that it's going to be a really even match. We've all played really even with Titan. And just after winning that first game, it it felt so nice, and we just had the hype with us into game 2. Then yeah, winning game 1 was probably the best feeling.
I mean, we heard you screaming.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, every
were
time
yelling.
there was a fight going on, was that you?
Yeah, that was me and Cherryo. We were just screaming all the time.
So you were going up against Epsilon next, almost undefeated. They lost 1 game, I believe, in the fall split. I know that you're not going to talk too much about your strategies. We don't want you to give that away. But what is something that you feel that they're really weak on that you can maybe take advantage of?
I don't think they really have a weak point.
Wow.
The thing is, the whole team is every player is just like top in their role. They have amazing mechanics. They have a really good teamwork. I think the key to locking them down is probably just focusing, adapting, because he's by many considered the best player in the world right now. We did that in the summer split and in the fall split. They did like we denied the old Epsilon to go to the fall split or the spring split. Sorry, all the way in the spring.
Yeah, you qualified.
Yeah, we
actually
qualified over Epsilon.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And what we did back then was like we just counterpicked him. He had what's it called, a Suket, and we just had Aero, Scylla, Rama. He couldn't do anything. Like I think adapting had like around 3,000 player damage in a 20-minute games, and they just surrendered. But it's like we always play 1-1 with Epsilon, but in this split we have lost 2-0 because they've been so dominant. But I definitely think it's going to be a pretty close set.
How much effort do you and your team put into picks and bans? Because Tolly and I, and as well as Bick, and we were talking, we really feel like the picks and bans decided a lot of those games. It wasn't necessarily the direct counter matchups, it's just kind of like how your team meshed together. And you had a pretty high execution comp in game 3 that you lost. But outside of that, we felt like you were very strong in that regard.
Yeah, we have Cherryo, who's really amazing at drafting, and we have Defiance, has a lot of game knowledge as well as a coach. So we just sit together like 1.5 hours before we go to bed. We talk about what are we gonna do, even for scrims. What do we wanna try tomorrow? What counters what? And then when we have the scrims, because we're probably gonna scrim tomorrow, and then we're gonna get home, and then we're gonna talk about it. What comps do you want to play in each game? We had a comp for each game today, so we had that all figured out beforehand. So I think drafting is like really important to winning games.
Yeah, so you're preparing for Titan, and clearly the Naja Scylla was working out for you
Yeah.
guys. You guys probably have some more strategies lined up for Epsilon, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing that you'll say now.
He's not gonna say it now.
Why actually did you guys go into Afro for game 3? It seemed like mages really weren't doing too well in the solo lane.
We felt like if we had a healer, we were probably gonna do a lot, and it's the whole thing about making someone frustrated. Because if you can throw so much calling out of lane, you're gonna see someone go Nasha, Nasha, Nasha. He's gonna get cap rolled. He gets back to me. Then they're gonna have to call a new target. If he gets F rolled, they have to constantly adapt their shot
We
calling.
saw all those Kepri ults.
Yeah.
Somehow they just popped every single one of your
I don't know.
Yeah, you played amazing game 3 of the Capri. Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I think that is it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, EmilZy. And guys, we have Paradigm versus Team Dignitas up next, right after this break.